My name is Stephen David Elliot, and I am the creator and founder of Rockstar Connect, and you are joining the 3 Martini National Virtual Networking event. This is very different than a lot of the Zoom seminars that you're in. Many of you attendees are coming into the chat room right now and say, hey, I want to be up here. I want to be talking with all these people. Well, this is the best way to do it. And you can go into the chat and ask any type of question that you like, but keep in mind, make sure you download the HIO app, and the HIO app will bring you into the virtual lounge. Now, the virtual lounge experience, I'm going to describe that a little bit to you. When you go into the virtual lounge, you can set up your own profile. On that profile, you can share as little or as much information as you want. If you're looking for a job, you can put a resume in there, anything you like. And then you can start selecting people that you would like to interact with. And you're going to have a live one-on-one video chat with those people. So it's very exciting, and nobody else is doing it. And we want you to really enjoy that. The hosts and the panelists today, they're going to be jumping in with you to interact with you there. We have with us today, we're going to start off, before we get to all our panelists, we have Jason Craparo with us, and he is the CEO of HIO, who is our event partner. They are the ones that are facilitating the virtual lounge for us. I want to welcome him, and he can tell you a little bit more about HIO and the virtual lounge and how everyone can participate in having a rich networking experience, just as if you're going to a face-to-face live event. I'm going to unmute you, Jason. I think you need to unmute yourself here, Jason.
Okay, I've got it there.
Very good.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Stephen. Hi, everyone. As Stephen said, my name is Jason, and I'm the CEO of HIO. HIO stands for Hit It Off. And what the app does and the company does is we span the entire relationship journey from hitting it off in person or virtual, taking those relationships digital through LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. And then the hope is that you all hit it off and you want to get back in touch with that person for more video chats or to just continue the relationship and hopefully lead towards executing a contract or chatting more, building the relationship. So the virtual lounge aspect, when you come onto the app, you will want to unpack your bags. So you're going to add your Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever social medias you have, and you want to potentially share with someone else. As Stephen said, you can also load any documents through Dropbox or Google Drive. So if you're doing business and you have contracts or pricing lists, inventory sheets, a resume, cover letter, anything like that, or if you are hiring and you have a job description, whatever document you may want to share with someone, you can add that onto the platform. That's along with any websites, phone numbers, emails. And then before the lounge opens, if you go to the guest list, you can actually just tap on anyone or collectively tap on a bunch of people and share anything that you want to based on your comfort level or relationship with that person. If it's a new person, you may want to start with sharing just your phone number, email, and LinkedIn, right? But if you do go into a video, live one-on-one video chat, which lasts about 7 minutes, then you may want to, and you hit it off with someone, you may want to share more. You may want to share your Facebook, your Instagram. So wherever that relationship is based on your comfort level and your relationship, you're able to share whatever you want. And then the really great part about HIO is swapping of information is the easy part. But we have a whole host of follow-up features baked into the platform. So we make it easy to send pre-scripted follow-up emails to the people you meet. We'll remind you to follow up with the people that you connect with on HIO as well. So we'll auto-prompt you with a push notification weekly or monthly, even daily, depending on your preference of how you want to be reminded. You can take notes on the people that you meet. You can introduce 2 different people. One of the big aspects of networking is positioning yourself in the middle of 2 people and facilitating introduction. So you can introduce 2 people as well if you'd like. And then you can always set reminders and propose meetings to actually connect with people. So the virtual lounge is going to be open after this event. I'll be live and be able to connect with you all and really look forward to answering any questions you may have in the live chat.
That's terrific. And can you explain to the speakers how, the panelists, how that, Jason, are you gone, Jason?
Nope, I'm here. I've got a little.
Jason, can you explain to the panelists how that benefits them when they go into the virtual lounge?
Absolutely. So if you are a panelist, you can actually tap and hold on any one person, and then it'll allow you to select multiple people and send them each a custom message to begin a live chat with them, a direct message over the platform. So you can text message right through the HIO platform. You can share in bulk, saving yourself a ton of time. And then you can also, if you want to as well, we've unlocked, we have a premium version that's typically $10 a month. Because of COVID-19 and the hardship that people are enduring right now, we've actually unlocked all of HIO Premium for free for 3 months. And one of the great features that is in HIO Premium is this 30-second video elevator pitch. So if you're also a panelist as well, or anyone that's listening to this, I would urge you to upload a 30-second video elevator pitch so that when people go to initiate a video chat with you, they'll already get a sense of who you are and what you're about beforehand. And so if you are a panelist, you can definitely make a plug for your business, what it is you do, what you'd like to talk about, so people know what they're going to get into with a 7-minute chat with you in the live networking portion.
Thank you, Jason. It's a very powerful app. So those of you attendees that have not downloaded the app, you can go into the virtual lounge and download your HIO app now. We're going to have a 2-hour event here. And if you've ever been to a Rockstar Connect event, we usually do them at a restaurant or a bar. So people have a cocktail. So it's perfectly permissible to have a cocktail. Do any of our panelists have cocktails today? Well, it definitely looks like Jason has one. I have a Bloody Mary.
It's a nice
Sarah is having, what do you have, Jamie?
I said this is an iced tea right now, but that may change.
I'm going to unmute everyone for a moment. Anybody else have a cocktail? If any of the panelists want to go get one, or the attendees, feel free. Of course, we always have to remind you, if you are not currently wearing pants, please turn off your camera before you stand up, because we really do not want to see that. Hey, let's for the panelists today, something that's been trending on social media, and I'm going to introduce you, as I speak to you, rather than just going down the line and having everyone introduce one another. This is something that's been posted in a lot of people's feeds. It's a meme, and the meme says, if you don't come out of this quarantine with a new skill, your side hustle started, and more knowledge, you never lacked the time, you lacked the discipline. So a lot of people are like saying, yeah, that's their mantra, they're going to come out of it this way. And other people are saying, boy, that's really a lot to ask. What are you doing? Are you calling me lazy? Let's just talk to some of you and see what you think. I'm going to unmute everyone. I'm going to mute all, and I'm going to unmute Lisamarie Juan. First of all, Lisamarie, real briefly, where are you located?
Hi, I live in Reno, Nevada, which is near Lake Tahoe.
And what do you do out there in Reno, Nevada?
I'm a commercial real estate broker, and I host a bunch of events, including Rockstar Connect.
Yes, Lisamarie's been hosting events with us for 2 years now, and she's getting ready to host the largest real estate networking event in Northern Nevada. But Lisamarie, what do you think of this meme? And
so I have to play devil's advocate on this one, Stephen, because part of me, has the idea of begin with the end in mind. So how do you want to come out of this COVID quarantine? What do you need to do to be your best self? And what do you want to accomplish during this time? Because this isn't like a vacation, folks. You're home. You're in your 4 walls. You have the opportunity to create a lot and create your best self for when we get back out in the world. And then the other part of me is like, we've all been going at full speed for so long. I know for myself, on the weekends, I've been resting quite a bit, and I didn't realize how tired I was. So I think there's a regeneration and a restoration reset period to this as well. So I have a foot in both camps. I'm doing the best of both.
that's good to hear. Thank you, Lisamarie. I'm going to go over to John Doorn in Michigan. I'm going to unmute you, John. John, I'm sure that you have a little bit, you're a balanced person. You probably have a very balanced opinion on this. First of all, I know you're a coach out there. Real quick, tell us 10 seconds about yourself and we'll jump into the meat of the conversation.
Yeah, nice to see you all. Thanks for having me. My name is John Doorn. I sell real estate. I'm a managing partner of a small brokerage here in Michigan, and then I coach business professionals across the country. So I wear some hats, and I love them all.
Excellent. So what's your thought on this meme? Is it a little harsh, or is it right on, or is maybe the people that are getting upset that meme isn't made for them?
Yeah, I really liked what Lisamarie said, and I came to the conclusion that this isn't a vacation. And I don't know, I think it's all of us here are, we work in the business and we work on the business, right? It doesn't matter what market you're in or if you're under shelter or not under shelter, we all have to prospect, right? So for me, I'm just leaning into things that I haven't leaned into before. I'm leaning into TikTok. I've never been great at LinkedIn. I'm leaning into that. I'm sharpening my email. I be completely honest, I threw my email list out and put too much weight in Facebook and some Instagram. And I think that was a bad thing to do. So I'm leaning into those. It's a great time. I will tell you that there are 4 words that nobody doesn't want to hear right now in a text. How are you holding up? Sorry, I lied. 5. How are you holding up? Everybody wants that text. Please text me that. I want it. Right? So I'm just leaning into my connections with my people. I love cheesecake and I love bourbon. Pretty dangerous. So I did make the determination that I'm not going to come out of this weighing more and drinking more than I came into it. So I definitely upped my exercise game too. So.
Excellent. Very good. Raise your hand here if one of you is actually planning on learning a language or getting a new skill or a new license right now, and I'll go over to you. Jason, Scott, are you planning on doing anything new in that regard?
Yeah, absolutely, Stephen. Thanks for asking. So yeah, I'm working on my life and health license right now. So right now I'm currently licensed in property and casualty, but definitely want to take this downtime to not only recalibrate and get some good habits in place, spending more time with the family, getting more on a schedule like Lisamarie said, making sure that I have the same bedtime and wake up at the same time every single day. But yeah, and then also just I'm reading some new books as well.
Excellent. If you can, everyone, after you speak, if you can dump your information in the chat so people can reach out to you for advice in whatever field you're in, it would be much appreciated. I know that since this started, our company's been working 15-hour days. Jason, and Haya, we've been working very closely with their company as well. And, one of the things you may have to realize, the way to revenue might not be there right now, but you're setting up, this gives you the opportunity to set up your company's next step. We were going to do virtual in 3 months. This forced our hand and made us to go forward now. And we've had over 35 virtual events in the last 2 weeks for our host. We've been able to speak to people all over the country in depth. Okay, so let's go over to Dyrke, another Goosehead individual. And also, he's already to the hat, so we can imagine how long his hair is. What is your thought on that meme? Is it harsh, or is it right on the nose?
Thanks, Stephen. And it's not necessarily the length as it is the body. So yeah, it's this hat is just to contain what's going on underneath my on my head right now. I'm Dyrke Maricle. Scott and I, we're business partners. We are just outside of Raleigh, North Carolina, property and casualty insurance with Goosehead Insurance. To answer your question, I don't think it's harsh. I mean, I think a lot of people maybe took the first week and were seeing this as an opportunity to sit back and relax and, thinking that it was going to be back to normal, going into week 2. But I think we quickly realized after that week passed that it's changing. And so you better start learning how to either reinvent yourself or reinvent your business and how you communicate. Scott and I have always been referral based. I used to, a long time ago, believe in buying a lot of internet leads and things to try and, get out there. And, the problem with that is that you have to start over again every single month. So you have nothing that builds on itself. So, for the last few years, we've been 100% referral only. And this has been challenging because before we're face-to-face people. And we've always been, let's show up, let's say hi, let's do coffee, let's do, a cocktail, let's do lunch. And that's how we get to know a lot of the people that refer us business. But now, we had to kind of break through a little bit of our discomfort zone of, doing a lot more video, doing things that get us in front of our referral partners that we haven't done before, learning. Scott's a huge LinkedIn person. I've never been a big LinkedIn person, but now this is, kind of helping us get out of that comfort level of learning new ways to communicate. And if you're not doing that, look at it this way. We don't know what this is going to look like even 3, 4, 5, 6, a year from now. What's to say if another virus comes through that we're not back in this exact same situation 6 months. So if you aren't retooling your business or how you sell or how you interact with your referral partners in a way that can be permanently maintained and at a flip of a switch, then you're just one step away from not being in business the next time that this happens. So yeah, I think it's a perfectly good thing. It's a perfectly good meme, and everybody at this point should be very serious about learning something new, even if it's uncomfortable, because the uncomfortable things are what help us grow the most.
Thank you. I'm gonna flip over to Tommy Episcopo. So Tommy, like me, we're old time salespeople. We never thought that one day we would be on video talking to people about our business and making money doing it. Frankly, we had to go to the club or we had to take someone out to lunch. So you're learning a lot of new stuff. What have you learned in the last week to help your customers? And first, tell us who you are, Tommy, and what you do.
I'm Tommy Episcopo, Generations Financial. I've been in the financial world for 30 years. And I hang my hat on teaching people how to eliminate their debt, which is a huge thing. Personal, business, anything, mortgages, credit cards, and I don't do it with consolidation, negotiation, or forgive debt. I teach them how to eliminate it, and it can be done.
So how are you doing that now through
Well,
video?
I learned, Stephen, that either I'm going to get on board with this whole digital world, I'm going to roll with this, or it's going to roll right over me. So yeah. I had to just throw my hands up and luckily my daughter works for Apple. Most of you know that. And she's helped me out a lot. And it's a whole world that I didn't even know existed, and it's good. It's good to learn a new skill, to learn, it's good. I'm doing annual reviews through Zoom now. It's a really powerful tool. For the right person, for the person that's open-minded and wants to learn. If somebody's going to remain in their box, inside the pizza box, I call it, then they're never going to get anywhere with this.
I would agree. And I would say there's certain industries, it's difficult. People in real estate right now, in some states, it's essential business. And in other states, it's not allowed. But then even then, you have to be sensitive to people that are out there. I'll flip that over to Bruce Hill, who is a real estate agent and coach here in North Carolina. How are you coaching real estate agents? What do they need to learn now? Do they need to learn a new language of doing real estate?
First off is I am, most of you that do know me probably have recognized one of the things that I've considered a little bit of a curse about myself up until now has been that one of my biggest values in life is congruency. And I struggle pretending to be excited about something that I'm not. And I am actually really excited about the opportunity that we all have right now, probably more so than I've been in many years about anything else. It's a really crappy situation, but there is an opportunity here for anyone who leans into it, to use John's expression. It's funny because I did a training this morning, and the first thing that I did is I told the agents that were on the training that there's nothing new under the sun. Just because you think you have an idea and an expression and a way of expressing yourself that is unique, it's not unique. Somebody else is getting it at the same time. And John, I've been for like 4 days, I've been using the term lean in with almost every sentence, because right now is the time that business strength is going to be built. You don't build business strength when things are easy. You build strength when you push through the pain of resistance and pressure. And so that's where I'm going with the agents that I coach at the moment. Is this is the time when there's going to be things that are uncomfortable. We're not in business as usual. We are in a time when we have resistance and pressure against us. And if you just stand there, you're going to end up in worse shape coming out than when we went into this whole quarantine thing. But if we lean into it and we push through the pressure, when that pressure is released and lifted, things are going to seem easy for a lot of people that took the opportunity to lean in and push through right now.
Excellent. Hey, I'm concerned about all you guys because I know the camera adds 10 pounds weight and some of you look really super skinny. So I hope you're still eating out there. Hey, for the attendees, we have 150 people in the chat room. If you have any questions for our panelists, please put them there. Jason, I'm going to come over to you for a second so you can encourage people to go over to the virtual lounge, which you created. And you're unmuted.
Yeah, can you repeat that?
Can you encourage, why don't you encourage people what they can be doing? You can listen to us panelists, or you can also be going into the virtual lounge right now. What are some tips, Jason? What is the minimum that people have to have in their profile?
So I would just say, at the very least, you're going to want a good, high quality image. Fill out your bio. We have fields for education. We have fields for your current position. You can denote on the app what it is you're looking for out of networking in the virtual lounge. And you can also mark how you can be helpful to other people. So when someone is looking at all of the different bios in the lounge, they're going to look at all of that information before they initiate the chat with you. And if you're sitting there and you're getting an incoming video chat and there's not a lot of information about that person, you're going to be less likely to accept it, right, in the short term. So I would urge you to take the time to fill out a robust profile. A 30-second video elevator pitch, which I mentioned earlier, is usually a premium feature. It's unlocked for everybody. So I would really take advantage of that. And in that context, you can actually show via video for 30 seconds who you are and what you're about, so that when people are going to look at your profile, they're gonna watch that 30-second video elevator pitch, know who you are and what you're about before they initiate the video call. And I think that'll be really helpful to be able to showcase who you are, what you're about, maybe the things that you like to talk about, things that you're interested in, so that people are more likely to hit it off with you.
Excellent. I have a question from the audience for you, Jason, and Jamie. This might be something you're going to want to jump on too, since you're familiar with the trade shows and conferences. Jason, are conferences coming back soon? Are we going to be able to do trade shows and conferences virtually?
Depends on what you mean by soon. I think that once this quarantine's been lifted, doesn't mean that the pandemic is over. Doesn't mean that people still don't have it, aren't carrying it. So I think that there's going to be some apprehension on event goer side, and people that put forth the money to put them on, right? It's no easy feat to put on a big event like a trade show or a conference. And so I don't know if they're going to see the ROI that's there. I think some of the powerhouse ones that are annual and well attended and people love and they look forward to may still go on. But we have a partnership with a company called ViewStub, and what they do is live streaming of physical events. And I think that we have an exclusive deal with them to power all of their networking. But what they do is you can have a semi-physical event, but also sell tickets virtually to people at home, and they can watch the person on the stage through a live feed, similar to how we're doing here, but it's content driven more than not. And I think that you're going to see a lot more hybrids for people that are trying to dip their toe in, and people are going to be about the types of events that they attend. I would say for the next 3 months, I would not bank on physical events, not necessarily small networking events, but once the quarantine is lifted, I still think that people are going to be a little frightened to go out and be meeting face-to-face initially. So I think virtual is here, at least for the next 3 months, in my opinion.
Okay. Jamie, first of all, Jamie Farrell is here in North Carolina as well, in the greater Charlotte area. Jamie, you're a face-to-face kind of guy. That's the way you do all of your business. How can we connect with our sphere now? What are you doing that's unique?
Shall I start, Stephen, with a 30-second commercial so folks know what I do?
Maybe a little less than 30 seconds. We can drop it into the chat. Sarah's dropping in your information, but please let people know what you do.
So I design tax-free retirement savings plans. They have lower fees than mutual funds. They have returns as good as the S&P 500, and they've got income 25% to 40% greater than your 401k or IRA. At Farrell Financial Freedom, we just want you to get you to stop worrying about your retirement. So thank you for that. Yeah, so face-to-face indeed. I am right there with Tommy. This is a generation cultural shock for me. I'm going into the this world dragging and screaming and kicking. But like Tommy, I am glad for my one generation younger office assistant. She is helping me bridge this gap. And yeah, so Rockstar Connect for me over the last year and a half has taken me from one-on-one to group, from attendee to host, to facilitator. It's been a wonderful experience, Stephen, just to bring local entrepreneurs together to facilitate connections and hopefully watch them get business out of it. Now, we go from physical to virtual, and this is, again, a whole new level for me with HIO. Thank you, Jason, for your leadership there, and I'm looking forward to making this work as I have each step. For our business, we designed those tax-free retirement plans, and they especially work for small employers, small business owners with 5 to 50 employees, because the savings crisis is so huge in our country, and if it doesn't happen at the workplace, it probably won't happen. So anyway, we've really drilled down and refined so that it blows the typical qualified retirement savings plans really out of the water. It does circles around anything from Washington, and it does circles around anything from Wall Street. So that's my passion. That's the message I want to get out. And now we are having to do that virtually. So we are engaging the business owner virtually. We are preparing for the employee meeting virtually. We are conducting one-on-one with each employee at the company virtually with all the material already prepared. It's really quite a task, Stephen. And yeah, but we adapt or we die.
Well, I'll tell you this, Jamie, you do have a face for video. You do look very distinguished, and like, I mean, raise your hands if you guys think you would trust Jamie. Yeah, I gotta tell you, I think us older gentlemen and ladies are getting a real advantage of this, because we all sort of look like, I want to say young Walter Cronkites and young Barbara Walters on video. Tommy cuts a great image on video. He was made for video and has a great voice. Someone who has a lot of experience with video, who's been doing events with us now for over 2 years, is Melissa Kaiser. I'm going to unmute you in a moment. She's in St. Louis. She runs the largest networking event in St. Louis. And, we have an impression right now that lenders are just making a ton of money because everyone is calling you. But I've also heard there's a lot of backlog, and it's making it more difficult for you guys to do business. What's the true story there? What's going on?
Hi, guys. Well, every day is a struggle, and guides and guidelines are changing constantly. So I have to be kind of careful with what I do say about what we can still do and what we can't do. But when it comes to helping buyers right now, and even people that are looking to refinance their homes, we've got to make sure that they have the ability to repay these mortgages that they're taking out. So if you've got somebody that's, an hourly worker or that's not essential, someone that's furloughed right now or is not making any income, that's going to be a reason for us to have to halt the process, because again, we've got to be able to show, that you have that ability to make these payments for this mortgage if, we can't count on what we are going to know for the future, which all of us don't know what's going to happen. So, I'm fortunate enough to have enough clients that have been able to continue working from home. They have the ability to, show us that they have, pay stubs that are recent and things like that. Or maybe it's having reserves in the bank to show you've got a couple of mortgage payments after we close. So we're trying to find ways to make sure that we can still help these clients, because obviously, at the end of the day, I want to help you achieve your goal of home ownership or refinancing your home, which is going to hopefully help you save money, get you that cash out that you need, or those types of things. But if it's a situation where it doesn't make sense and we can't provide proof that at the end of the day, again, we would get paid, we have some issues. So, I'm seeing it on both ends of the spectrum. But again, we've just got to be really careful, and we don't want 2008 to happen again. So, underwriting, processing guidelines, they're as strict as, they've been, which is a really good thing for ourselves and our consumers. So just trying to protect everybody as best as possible.
Thank you, Melissa. If anybody has questions about mortgages, Melissa's going to drop her information in the chat, or Sarah will drop that in there for you. We have quite a bit of people in the virtual lounge right now, a lot of people here in the chat. This is being broadcasted to our 250 Facebook groups around the country, as well as being broadcast live on YouTube. So we have a lot of viewers right now. We have, thousands of viewers that are watching this. So I appreciate all the hosts that have come on. Mark Roberts, he has a very interesting business. He hosts a few of our events here in the Raleigh area. Mark, what new things are you going to come out of on the other end of this that you have learned that's going to make you better at what you do?
Stephen, and for everyone, what we do is we're a virtual bookkeeper, virtual office management, and I also do business coaching, trying to maximize my experience as a practicing attorney up in Massachusetts, quality control specialist, and some other operational things, and as a banker. So we're well poised to help the small businesses. But to your point, Stephen, what we've learned is that everyone, like Jamie has described, was thrust into this virtual world. And that's working out fantastic for us. We haven't missed a beat because this is the environment in which we live in. Some of our bigger clients are up in Massachusetts. We're down here in North Carolina. We do everything from signing into their computers to answering their phones to their emails to managing all their payables. So we've already been doing this. And what has happened for us is it opened up the floodgates for people that now are accepting of us doing books without being physically on site, for us to help their business without, again, being physically there. So for us, it's just enhanced everything. We are moving up and adding some other features, everything from the Calendly, so people can make appointments without having to talk to us, to have that 12 conversation on when you can talk. So again, it's just being more of what we do. But I am looking to getting back to the events, as we talked about, so we can do the Rockstar downtown and the Success is Contagious that we tried to get. That answer what you were looking for, Stephen? Oh, I think you're on mute. Oh, are we back?
Stephen, you're muted.
Is it hard to hear me when I'm muted?
It's a little quiet.
Okay, so what I was saying is, if you're an attendee right now and you have any questions, please put it in the chat. We have people that are facilitating the chat to get your questions answered. If you have been to a Rockstar Connect event, hey, put that in the chat. We want to know that our attendees are still being serviced and getting the ability to network like we did every single week. You know, Rockstar connected over 800 events last year around the country with some of our fantastic hosts. I have David Riddell. He's one of our panelists today, and he does branded merchandising. What's the beauty of his business is it doesn't make a difference. He can do, you know, business anywhere. He'll drop his information in there. But what are you finding a demand for now in your business, since people aren't meeting face to face?
Yeah, hey guys, Big Frog Custom T-shirts in Durham and Asheville. So events can still happen online as we are having them. I mean, we are heavily event-based, of course. The schools shut down, nonprofits have to reschedule events, churches and summer camps don't know what they're doing, but you see we are meeting and we are doing events. So there's still a need for that type of thing, but lots of personal. I mean, when you think about it, it's like some people want to make fun of COVID, right? Because we have to have a sense of humor through this. So whether it's toilet paper memes and fun COVID things, or coloring pages, because we can do one at a time. I mean, you can still have somebody the kids color things for an assignment and we print them into shirts. A lot of it's just staying connected, right? A lot of it's community oriented. In both of my towns, I'm doing something where it's a give back shirt, where if you buy the shirt, the money will go back to somewhere. So it becomes community awareness. We're all trying to sell. We're all trying to stay afloat. Different businesses have different things, but in a time like this, you want to be known for community and how you support the community. And that's what, I mean, apparel can do. It's like, it can make you feel good even in a funeral when you're wearing somebody's memorial shirt. But when you think about being able to say, hey, I support this cause, or I mean, look at me, what I'm doing when we come out of our pajamas, right? And either on screen or in public. Muted again.
Steven, muted.
Muted again. I'm just going to leave myself unmuted. I have no noise here in the background. I hope you guys are cool with that. I'm just going to leave myself unmuted. But let's move on to something else that's sort of controversial right now. A lot of people have political opinions. Everyone here are political animals. I'm seeing a lot of small business people going out and really putting their politics out there in their social media posts. And others are, you know, they're sort of, you know, keeping a delicate balance. I'm trying to keep a delicate balance myself and what I'm posting on social media, since I have a very large audience. Which one of our panelists, by raise of hands, has some advice for this, or is it a dilemma for them? Tommy Episcopo. I'm going to unmute you, Tommy. Can you share your experience and what you're doing right now?
Yeah, don't do it. Don't share your opinion with anybody right now. Just don't do it. It has no place in business at all.
You post a lot on social media. What should we concentrate on? I'm concentrating on recipes, positive things, dogs, sure. Puppies.
I'm concentrating on anything that has to do with my business. Anybody that's online that wants information. Any of the pages I belong to that love animals. I'm an animal lover. That kind of stuff. But your political views have no place in your business at all, period.
Does anyone on the panel have a contrary opinion? It looks like we're all in agreement on that one. All right, so if you are one of the attendees and you feel that all bets are off now, you should post politics, please put it in the chat so you can discuss it amongst yourself. For those of you who want to go into the HIO app, you know, go into the virtual lounge, download the app. Sarah will drop a link in there for you. So Lisamarie, I'm going to unmute you here. Are you unmuted? Okay, great.
Hi, Steven.
I've never seen you share politics. You're very similar to me. You post a lot of things that are positive, but primarily on the spiritual.
Yes.
A lot of people are concerned about getting into religion. How do you not veer into religion and instead just keep it, you know, keep it so that it's broad and a topic that everyone can understand and appreciate?
Sure, that's a great question. My main focus always, and that remains singular today, is to add value, not only to my clients, but my followers, attendees at my events. So it's interesting because I was thinking we'd have less emails, social media bombardment with the COVID shelter in place. And I'm finding it's very different than that. People are being overwhelmed in a whole new way with Zoom calls and Hangout calls and go-to meetings. And, I could pretty much spend my whole day sitting in front of my computer, and that's not how I want to spend my time. So my focus is on value add. So I'm not putting a ton of content out, but what I am putting out there in live videos, constant contact blasts, is valuable content to my clients. And then as far as the question about religion, spirituality doesn't have anything to do with religion. That's a completely separate topic. So if we have views of taking control of our emotions and our consciousness and choosing to see a positive world and have a beautiful outlook, then that's the type of message that I focus on.
That's fantastic. On my pages, on some of the areas, especially since some of my community pages are in the Bible Belt, we do get a lot of religious posts. And I'm just sort of going with the flow and letting people post what they want, as long as they are not being mean to other people. Because the general message, even if it's religion specific to a specific religion, is usually a very good message that we can all learn from. And I think it's an excellent opportunity to appreciate other people's religious perspectives and see how similar they are to one another versus how different they are. And we can gain a lot from that. So if any of our hosts that do have the app want to jump in briefly into the Hio Lounge and interact with any of our attendees there, you're welcome to do so. And I imagine you're going to get a lot of love inside of that room because people do want to speak with you. Let me go over to Scott Rutter. I'm going to mute you, Lisamarie. Scott, you're
Hello,
muted.
Stephen. Yes,
Hey,
sir. I'm
Scott.
unmuted.
So this has been a real problem for Scott because Scott is the ultimate networker. He never stops moving. He's one of the few people I know with more LinkedIn connections than me. And it really was a face-to-face person up to about a week ago when his wife said, if you leave the house one more time to make a community video of a local restaurant, I'm going to beat you across the face. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
So you've taken a deeper dive into LinkedIn. Can you share what you're doing on LinkedIn and what our panelists can do as well as the attendees?
Yeah, definitely. So, and I know my business partner is really struggling with this right now too, Dyrke. He definitely likes having constant attention, affection, and everything else. So not being in the office every day is just totally killing him. But you got to honor what the wife says. Happy wife, happy life. But some of the things that we're doing is the Goosehead guys on LinkedIn right now is just adding value to our referral partners. So, we're 100% referral based, as Dyrke mentioned earlier, with lenders and real estate agents. And right now they're really starting to have a lot of impact with, COVID. And so we're really trying to help, spotlight them and just what separates them from all the others that do what they do. So that's some of the things we're doing on LinkedIn and just adding value. I mean, again, one of the announcements that came out is anybody that has auto insurance right now, whoever you're currently with, call that insurance carrier and have them change you from, driving from work to pleasure, because that's going to definitely save you on your monthly premium. So, and that can definitely add up. Or call the Goosehead guys.
Advice. Can you back up and talk about that again? Because all the panelists just went, what?
Yeah, so there's a special, again, when you first get your auto insurance with companies, there's different ways we can code it in the system. So whether it's to school, to work, again, maybe you drive 12,000 miles, maybe you drive 6,000 miles. Again, we have a way to modify that within the system. So right now, again, is it time to call your current insurance carrier and let them know to recode you to pleasure use on your vehicle, because again, we are all ordered to, for the most part, stay home. And that really can save you on your monthly premium. Or like I mentioned, call the Goosehead guys, and we have the power of choice through 30 different insurance carriers, and we'll be happy to give you a quote since you have to call your insurance company to let them know to recode you anyway.
That's great. Now, I spoke to Scott before this, and he said that he would make available in the next week 4 slots for people that need help with their LinkedIn specifically. And he said he would be able to give, each person 30 minutes on the phone. If you're an attendee and you have interest in that, Scott's going to drop his information in there. Email him directly, and he'll give you tips on how to use LinkedIn like a pro.
Definitely. Yes. Thank you, Stephen.
Panelists, you can call him no matter what, so don't worry about that. Let's leave those 4 slots for the other attendees. I'm going to jump over to Tommy Episcopo because Tommy is always very popular. Tommy, let me unmute you. I think you need to unmute yourself here. We're having a little trouble unmuting you.
Okay.
So Tommy specifically deals with debt and getting people out of debt by using different financial products. The good thing about his product is it can be used by people that are not big money earners, people that are middle class, and people that are wealthy. What is a tip that you can give people right now, and how can people reach you to have a one-on-one scheduled with you in the next few weeks?
Well, the one thing I can tell them right now is every dollar that you give to somebody else is a dollar you don't have. In my world, there's no such thing as cheap money. And I'm sorry to all the mortgage brokers and everybody in this room, real estate people, there's no such thing as a cheap mortgage. There's no such thing as student loans that aren't caught. That doesn't exist. All those dollars that are leaving you would definitely be better in your pocket than somewhere else. Would everybody agree to that?
Yes.
So there's no way someone can sit and tell me that their money is cheap. Well, my software can show them just how cheap that money is that they think. It is. And it's really not. Okay, look at it this way. How many times do you think someone will come in my office with an investment portfolio that is outpacing the interest they're losing? How many times do you think that happens?
Not too frequently, or never.
It's never happened. It's never happened, ever, unless they have no debt. Now, I know that's a tough pill to swallow for a lot of financial guys in here, but that's the truth. I can put it to paper and show it to you. It's very simple to do, So if somebody has these type of issues and these type of problems, call me. The only thing you have to lose is your debt. I mean, the consultation's free. It doesn't cost anything for you to find out. So if you have a mortgage that's 30 years, and I can get you out in 8 or 9, and the remainder of those years you put that money in your pocket, isn't that a good thing? That should be a yes.
That's a good thing. So if anybody wants to speak with Tommy, please drop your information in the chat, and we'll make sure that you're able to connect with him. Okay, who else here has some free information that they want to give and wants to get on the phone with some of our attendees and network in the next few weeks? Raise your hand if you have something that you want to do to help out the people that are in the audience listening to us right now. Raise your hand. Nobody wants to do any some free coaching? Okay, I see a hand going up there. Okay, John, let's talk to you for a sec. John, first of all, can you give everybody a free tip on what they can be doing now to improve their real estate business, and let them know what you're willing to give away in the next week as far as your time?
It was interesting that as we were talking, there's a great book out called The Go-Giver. I don't know if you've all read it, but if you haven't, you should read it. And to me, as much as what are you posting is what are you connecting with others out there, especially on Facebook, and how, like I said, the best 5 words, right? Like how are you holding up? So for me on social media, it's as much as about connecting and commenting on as many people as possible. Twitter is a fire hose, right? Twitter lets you see everybody's feed, and we all know that Facebook wants to decide who your friends are. So we have to work very hard at making sure that we stay in front of as many people possible, not just the 30 people that Facebook thinks are your friends. And the way to do that is to make sure you get on their walls and you see who's on the chat and you comment and like consistently on everyone's, on your friend, your friends list, not just that. So my advice is comment and like often, message, birthday cards, birthday hellos, send out cards is a great way to connect with people through birthday cards. And honestly, if you're one of my clients, you're probably going to get a really horrible rendition of happy birthday to me in your private messaging. I'm not a very good singer, but I'm probably going to sing it to you. So
I know that you want to sing.
yeah, I do. I'm the kid that got the baseball bat and the glove and wants to play so bad, and he sucks.
Yeah, but we love your enthusiasm.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, John. And check out, John's going to drop Sarah's going to drop John's information here in the chat for you. But if you are really into like vintage VW vans, and you like pug dogs, you got to go to his Facebook page. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of positivity. I'm going to mute you, and I'm going to go over to Jason because I think Jason has something that he wants to share. I think you were raising your hand, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Just
a couple of points. John brings up a lot of good stuff. I just put an article in the chat, but that's from 2018, where Twitter is like drinking from a fire hose or whatnot. The link is all about the average lifespan of content, how long it lives there before it just gets buried by a ton of other stuff. And Twitter is by far the loser in this, where you post something and within a couple minutes it's gone. Your blog being that will sustain over time, many years. But that article was from 2018. There's probably some newer stuff on, and I've seen things to the contrary that just speed up the whole lifespan of content. So it is important that you continually refresh content and deliver the right message on the right social media platform as well, based on what it is you have to say. But a couple of things I just wanted to mention about the lounge. And then we also had a question in the chat around privacy. So if you're in the lounge right now, you're going to want to toggle yourself available if you want to be available for someone to initiate a 7-minute video chat. So that's important to note that you are going to want to just toggle yourself available if you are indeed available. The second thing is we got a question about privacy on the actual mobile app in the chat. And I'm happy to announce that HIO does not sell, repurpose, loan, rent, lease, any type of data from any users ever. It's not something we do. We do not make money with that type of data privacy concerns. We don't make money at all selling people's data. So your data is safe and secure at HIO, just a big FYI. There is a need to stay vigilant. There are several event companies, event mobile apps, networking apps, that when you do look at their privacy, they say even if you attend one single event, just one event, they will keep your data for up to 20 years. That is not the case at all. At HIO, we believe that your data is yours. So we don't actually own your data. You own your data, which is the most amazing thing. So should you ever want to take your data with you and you close your account, we don't keep a record of it at all. Just a big FYI. So that's actually a great thing. And we decided to do that very early on. So your data is yours. To the extent that even the data that your social media platforms and things like that, we don't have anything that's not publicly available, and we don't store it in any way that would allow somebody to access your information. So just wanted to relieve anybody's concern if they had one about privacy. The last thing I wanted to mention was on social media. So we developed HIO so that people in general, relationships are blended. For those who I've heard on this webinar say that they're just coming on board to virtual or to social media in some aspects, people have different personas on different social medias. So for example, my wife is all about exercising and travel on Instagram. She's somewhat political on Twitter. Business only on LinkedIn. Facebook is reserved only for high school friends and family. And so we have these different personas on each social media platform, and HIO allows us to share the ones that we want to with each individual person when we meet them based on our comfort level and our relationship with that person. So I may meet 2 people in live chats today in the lounge, or 5 people, and we're going to have the same 7 minutes, but we hit it off differently with each person, and we have different things in common. And so I may share different socials based on that context. So that's there for you as well. Make sure you load up your bios, your profiles, social media platforms so that you're able to share the right things with the right people at the right time.
Jason, what are some common misconceptions that people have about virtual networking? Like, what are they trying to accomplish there? Are they trying to sell, or are they trying to make meaningful connections?
Well, I think like anything else, if it's virtual or just in person, you should never be actually, in my opinion, we have found most success just being yourself and letting people know you and like you and then begin to trust you over the course of the relationship. So, hitting it off with someone day one, they're really not in a position to buy your services unless they were looking for those services and stumbled upon you. So we always take the angle of build the relationship first, seed the relationship, continue to water the relationship. And then at some point they may need your services, and then they're going to reach out to you if you are front of mind. If they've been seeing your content in their LinkedIn or on their Facebook, they've had several conversations with you, and at that point they know you, they like you, they trust you. When they have that specific need, they may reach out to you. But hard selling in virtual is not really great because you can't really even physically see people, their mannerisms and have a lengthy discussion. 7 minutes is a rather shorter period of time by design to be able to hit it off, then take the relationship digital, and then hopefully get back in touch. But I would focus on building the relationship, who you are, what you're about, laying a solid foundation first, rather than launching right into how you can sell somebody. Just my own personal opinion. Others may disagree.
Thank you, Jason. So raise your hand if any of our hosts just went into the lounge and interacted with people. Okay, let me ask you about that, Lisamarie. Okay, so you've seen the future of online networking. Just what do you think?
Yeah,
what was your experience?
I feel like there's a lot of potential there. The main thing is to have an open mind about it, because it's a different venue and it's a different approach. As you know, I'm a big fan of face-to-face, belly-to-belly networking and connection events. That's really the crux of what I like to do. So I'm excited to learn more about this and to experience it more. Fun.
Excellent. How many people did you get to chat with?
One so
One?
far.
Okay, great. And do you want to mention them maybe?
Let me tell you. Let's see. This person was, no, I don't have it quite handy.
Okay, that's okay. We'll come back to it a little bit later. John, did you go into the lounge?
I did. I have to confess it's my first time, so I haven't chatted with anybody yet, but it's very intriguing. Nicely done.
Well, Jason and his team did a great job. His developers are working on it every day, and of course, I'm his hardest critic because we do so many face-to-face events, and we wanted to approximate that. So he came back with us this week with this really cool, infographic visual to show us what this is going to look like, a month or two down the line. And it really will be like you're going to be going into a bar or restaurant. You're going to scope out the room and see the people that you want to connect with, and you'll be able to have conversations not only one-on-one, but in groups of 4. And we're really excited about that. Jason, did you want to add something about that?
Yeah, definitely. So the idea is that at a networking event, you're not always one-to-one with people, right? That can be kind of intimidating. In fact, people look for opportunities to form a semicircle where you're kind of safe and you can observe and listen and reflect before you have the opportunity or you'd like to speak. And so what we want you to do is be able to, in the future of this, by the way, virtual is not replacing in-person. We've hosted thousands of in-person events. We host casual networking events all across the country, the world really as well. And it's not replacing it, but the virtual, we want to make reflect the real life nature of networking events. And we've been working with Rockstar Connect, who's been a great partner for us, very forward thinking. We absolutely love the relationship with these folks because they bring us great ideas all the time. And with regard to this kind of group networking, you may see 2 or 3 people kind of at a high boy and just want to join that 3-person conversation. And now you're the 4th and you bubble in and you can observe and then add your context. And after a while, you can say, hey, I'm going to go chat with these people, or I'm going to go hang by the virtual bar. So there's a lot of cool concepts that we're working on right now. And under Stephen and Sarah's leadership, we're kind of forming some joint partnerships that I think are going to be really exciting for this group in the future.
Thank you, Jason. Jamie, I'm going to come over to you because, and let me unmute you. I'm very familiar with how, you know, you do your business and your associates, and you like to usually speak. You're not usually doing one-on-one. You're usually speaking to a small group, and then that becomes a one-on-one. How are you using, you know, the Zoom technology to speak to a whole office now? Are you speaking the whole office all at once, or are you just going right into the one-on-ones? How are you scheduling it, and how do you recommend other people schedule their business now?
Yeah, excellent question. Disclaimer, this is infancy. We're learning as an agency, as a group, how to do this, but there is a plan in place. And first of all, we engage the small business owner, Stephen, and we share the idea of how we do what we do. Of course, let's see, what the speaker just said just a minute ago is, this is exactly right. We're just taking the virtual, or taking the physical into the virtual. So the plan is called the protection plan. And what we would do is engage the business owner, and she would say, wow, wonderful. I get it. Let's do it. And then I would get what I need from the business owner, and I would host a employee event. I would just take everyone out for dinner with their significant others. And my part would take 18 minutes. The business owner, she would use it to do some housekeeping and do a rah-rah. And then for those attendees at the dinner where I shared the program, I would then engage them individually, one by one, at the place of work, say in some sort of a conference room setting. Now we have to do all of that, Stephen, virtually. Good news is I don't have to pay for dinner for everyone anymore.
So what do you do? Send them gift cards for dinner now, or?
That's exactly right. That's exactly what we do. So for those who actually, you know, attend and then do the one-on-one, then that's exactly what we do. We invite them to dinner via gift card. But it's a ton of work. It's a lot of heavy lifting because of all the prep work that has to be done before we engage them one-on-one. But we're doing it virtually. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We have a new panelist that's come on board, Greg McDaniel. I'm going to jump over him shortly, but I wanted to speak with Tommy Episcopo and ask you a few questions and promote Rockstar Connect just a tad. So I'm going to unmute you, Tommy. So Tommy, you've participated in 2 panels now.
Yes.
Has any of that led to conversations outside of the panel with potential clients for you? Do you see it as a way that you can generate income for your business?
I do. You know, I mean, like I said before, it's going to have to be done. It was coming like a freight train anyway. So this just kind of speeded it up a little bit.
I mean, we were talking about this 3 months ago that I told you that we were launching this, and that was before coronavirus. And then you were a little skeptical. I think you're a true believer now.
Well, I was a little skeptical, not because of your concept. I was skeptical because of me. You know, I'm a little old school, a little thick-headed. You know, I kind of like to do things my way. And I'm a guy, so it's got to rattle around up there a little bit before it really hits home. And it has. You know, it's hit home. This is the way it's going to be done. I seen this coming a while back because when the financial companies that I was dealing with were starting with not giving you applications anymore, not sending you any brochures anymore, you had to go online and print them. Everything was either digitally, online, you'd have to go to secure email. I kind of knew it was coming, to be honest with you. Every place you go now is the same thing. That's the same thing. I called my bank the other day. They were like, oh, you can go online and do that. I was like, well, wait a second. You know, don't you work for me? I mean, no, you can go online and do that yourself. And basically, what do I need you for? You know, so it's kind of happening all around me anyway. So I'm gonna just, you know, I think it's a good thing. I really do. I think it's a good thing. It'll extend business for sure, for the right person. I think so. My opinion.
That's great information, and it's an excellent segue to our newest panelist. Real estate agents were not feeling, I mean, they were doing well financially, but they weren't feeling as much love as they did in the past because, you know, iBuyers have come in. And for those of you who don't know what an iBuyer is, those are big companies. They'll say, you don't have to put your house on the market. I'm going to pay cash for your house. It's going to be the easiest transaction ever. Well, now all those iBuyers are pulling back. And some of the big companies have let go 40% of their employees that showed properties. And now real estate agents, you know, are becoming pretty important again. But for a lot of real estate agents, they have not paid attention to their social media. They have not paid attention to getting themselves out through podcasts or posting. They've just sort of sat back there and just waited for the business to happen to them, which happens when the real estate market is very busy. Had a big slowdown in the last couple of weeks, but people are still selling real estate. So our new panelist is Greg McDaniel. He's going to tell you a little bit about himself, but he's out on the West Coast, and this guy does a podcast every single day and has an enormous following. And when you get on, Greg, I want you to tell us a little bit about that and how that's benefiting you and your sphere of influence today. Welcome, Greg.
Oh, well, hey, David, appreciate you. Stephen, appreciate you guys having me on today. Coming in actually hot off of a recording for another podcast that I'm doing as well. Those guys who don't know me, probably all of you. My name is Greg McDaniel. I've been a real estate agent for nearly 20 years out here in the San Francisco Bay Area with my father and my business partner. We work predominantly in the luxury market area. And ever since day one, I've never met a microphone or a camera I've never disliked. And so I put that into action, and I do a thing it's called Beers and Calls. It's when I drink a single beer and I do live prospecting calls using RedX triple line dialer out on Facebook Live. It really does a lot of exposure. People really enjoy it. They want to come on and drink a beer or a glass of wine or whatever and do calls with me. It engages the agent community. When it comes to the podcast, my podcast is called Real Estate Uncensored. One of the top rated podcasts in the real estate sector. Been doing it for about 5 years and about 1.5 million downloads. So we've been touching people all over the globe with just hardcore real estate training. And now, people are sending me referrals. They're asking me to come on panels. So it does give a lot of exposure out to both the agent population and the general population. If you were wanting to do, a podcast that's really super simple, all of us have this. We all have smartphones. There's an app called Anchor that you can download. Anchor, it's free, and then you can record a podcast directly on your phone and start producing a podcast immediately without having to do all the behind-the-scenes work. So there's an option for that on there. But, Stephen, I'm not quite sure what you want me to go deep on. We can talk about video.
What is the best resource for people who want to dive in deeper with this? I mean, what's the minimal they need to have to look good on camera, to sound good on camera? A lot of people don't have a lot of money. What's the minimum amount of money they need to start a podcast, and how should they promote it?
Their cell phone. I mean, you can literally record a podcast directly from your cell phone into Anchor. It'll do all the uploads and do everything for you. I think it's a nominal, if not, I think free. I just downloaded it the other day. I was listening to some other people that were talking about it. If you want to do the whole lights and mics and everything else, you can do that. You could do some voice marketing. There's Voister Pro. They did an article in Inman News about it, how you can this one I'm kind of working my way up to, but that's how you can get like your buddy here, like Alexa or any of Google's products, and you can start doing news flashes in the morning. You can start creating your own voice podcast there as well. So there's a lot of different verticals that I would recommend. If I was you guys and I was getting into this, I would go hard in YouTube and start creating content on YouTube. Because that's where your consumers are going to go out and they're going to be doing keyword searches already. If you go to YouTube right now, a good friend of mine, his name is Jackson Wilkie. Just type in YouTube agent. That's his channel. Go check it out. He literally lays out the steps for you on how to create good content and what's being searched. There's a great resource called Keywords Anywhere. It's a Google extension you can add on. And I bought it the other day. It costs $10 for 100,000 keyword searches. So it should take about a year to use those 100,000 keywords searches. And this is something that Jackson can teach you in this stuff. But my chicken scratch here is something when I was messing around with keywords in my area here in the Bay Area, I started finding things, and I'm going to start doing videos with things that, my city I'm living in is called Walnut Creek. And so Walnut Creek is searched, just those two words, is searched 49,500 times a month. Danville, my other town, 12,100. Danville weather, 14,800. Concord, 33,100. San Francisco, 823,000 times. San Francisco weather, 1 million times searches per month on this stuff. And you can go out, and this is just some like Oakland weather, 201,000 times are searched. And these are where you can go make videos and get in front of the buyers and get in front of the potential sellers in your local areas at basically a zero cost basis. So just go check out what Jackson's creating, because I'm following in his footsteps on this stuff on YouTube. And it's insanity. He has 50 active buyers right now, all from YouTube leads.
Yeah, that's terrific. Beyond just buyers and sellers, what about recruiting for teams or to brokerages?
You can do what I've done is go on and do videos why I joined X, Y, and Z brokerage. If you want to talk about testimonials from your clientele, what's working and how good you guys are. There's another app here. This is actually a really cool one that you can get. I have it on my home screen. And it's this little thing right here, this little circle, this little bird. It's called, what's it called? Video Chirp, excuse me. And what Video Chirp does is that my buddy Nick Sakis, if you want to look him up, he's in Florida. You can take this, you can type in something right here, and then you just hand it to your client, and they can record up to, I think, a 90-second video testimonial, and they'll do all the edits, all the music, everything in the background for this thing, and then it produces it in like 10 minutes, and then you have something that you can push out on social media, YouTube, push it out to people that you're talking to, but do something on that front as well. Are you guys doing video right now? Are you guys doing video? I see one of you guys, I think, Tom, you got a green screen behind you, right? Or something.
Yeah, Scott Rutter does video. Lisamarie does video. Melissa does video. Bruce and John. And I know Dyrke does video as well. Everyone else is starting to get into it, but nobody does it as much as you do.
I'm sick in the head. I'll admit it.
But it's part of your discipline, though. This is like you going to the gym, or
it is. And I went out and I bought this little doodad. This is called the DJI Gimbal 3, and it just has stabilization. It's not on right now, but it allows you to shoot really cinematic, clean, smooth shots, and it's super compact. Got it in the mail yesterday, so after this I'm gonna go play with this thing. But it's like it's between $119 and $135 on Amazon. And this does some amazing, if you want some smooth video out and about, running and gunning and stuff like that, this will be able to film some really smooth stuff for you.
If we have two questions.
One is,
sure.
Can Greg give more information about Video Chirp? We've got an attendee who's not able to find it. Can you give some more information about that?
Yeah, well, I'll get some, and Stephen, I'll email it over to you. I'll get stuff from Nick Sakis on how people can go get Video Chirp. And where they can get it and all that stuff for you. It's truly awesome, guys. It's so simple to do. A 3-year-old could do this and give you a Rockstar testimonials. You pick your music and the whole thing.
Great.
What's the second question, Sarah?
How can we help and mentor those in need during the tenuous times using a meetup?
So this is something that I've been kind of throwing around, is go onto like what's those discount websites where you can go get discounts of all the different local shops and stuff?
The buy sell trade.
Groupon. go to Groupon and reach out to the business owners, and then do a webinar style like this of all those different local businesses that may or may not have their shops open right now, and talk about what their services or products are, kind of what their clients, best client would look like. I've gone out into the local community and I've filmed with local restaurants and highlighted them, saying, hey, in this tenuous time right now, what would you be willing to consider sending X amount of your product, of your sales, to the local nurses and doctors, or to food banks, or to wherever it's really going to be near and dear to your heart. Start getting in with the philanthropic aspect of that. That's something that I'm going to be rolling out as soon as humanly possible. And then just number one is just to, do a video call and just say, hey man, how's life? What's your business looking like right now? I'm connected with a lot of folks here locally. How can I help grow your business? Or who can I push you over to into your stream, and you guys can start connecting, because your connecting ability right now is the most powerful thing you have. All of us have databases. All of us have past clients. All of us have local business connections, and start putting those pieces together. I'm doing probably 1 to 8 connections a day, just by asking, hey dude, like, who can I help you with? Like, what do you need most right now? Then just go into your Rolodex, that dated me, and be able to just pick it out and be like, oh my God, you guys need to start connecting with people. I got this guy, Steven. He has got this killer product called Rockstar Connect. He's helping people, get businesses, you guys should probably talk. And Steven, I've referred a lot of people over to you guys, and I continue to do that.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it. And what a lot of people need to be aware of is, the panelists, how many of you here have your own Facebook groups? I'm not talking your business page, your Facebook groups. Right? A lot of you need to utilize them. You need to utilize them more. I am I prospect and I help people and I connect people from my Facebook social media groups. If you were to look at my screen time, it would be insane. That being said, even when, before the coronavirus, I did the same thing, and I saved a lot of shoe leather. I put very little mileage on my car and myself, and I'm able to connect a lot of people. If you go into your groups now and you look at your analytics, if you are an admin of your group, you are going to be getting tremendous amount of views. For example, I have one community page. It's one of my smaller pages. It has 5,500 members on it that I've developed. And it took me about 6 months to get it from 500 people to 5,500. Every time I make a post on that page, I'm getting 3,500 views. That's an enormous amount of views. If you were to try to pay for advertising in a newspaper or digital print, you would pay for 150,000 circulation, but very few people would actually see what you're printing. So right now you have the ability to be a leader in your community. You can assist people, you can connect, and you can put people into your networking / referral bank. Because whoever's standing in the next 2 months and has been relevant to their audience and to their sphere of influence is going to have tremendous opportunity to do a lot of business. I know for some people that are attendees that are listening right now, you're saying, hey, I know I'm an essential business and I know I have a job, but I don't feel like any revenue's coming in. I'm doing a lot of work, but there's not a lot of revenue. But that happens even when there isn't a virus. If you're a commission-based salesperson, you may have a month or two that you're not making money, but that doesn't mean you stop working. That means you're putting things into your funnel for the future so you can make a lot of money. So keep in mind, whatever work you're doing right now, it's going to pay off for you big time in 2, 3, 4 months. Instead of sitting and eating, potato chips and being in your pajamas and watching TV, which is very appealing. I mean, I would love to do that because I don't really get an opportunity to do that. This is the worst time to do that. Now is your time, as Greg said, to go into your Rolodex. Who doesn't know what a Rolodex is on here? Melissa doesn't know what a Rolodex is. Melissa does know what a Rolodex is. But
it's the thingamabobber.
Yeah, it's a thingamabobber with all the names and numbers. We call them a CRM now, and they're electronic, but it's the same idea. It's a tool. Now you can really build up your Rolodex. There might have been people that before would not take your call. You know, they had gatekeepers and they didn't want to talk to you. Well, guess what? Now they're dying to talk to people. It's your time to reach out to those people and bang on their door. You know, before they had these little signs that said, it says on their door, no soliciting. Well, I got to tell you, when you see a sign on a door that says no soliciting, the reason why the people have that there is because they're such a mooch that they'll buy anything. So they actually hire people and put up signs to keep you away from them. Jamie's laughing because he knows what I'm talking about, and Tommy knows what I'm talking about, and Mark knows what I'm talking about.
Because I have a sign.
You know, so now you can just knock down the door entirely and speak exactly to the people you want. Like, I challenge you right now to reach out, you know, go through LinkedIn and look up everybody who's a CEO or the head of an organization that has hundreds of people. Because those people, you know, they may have cut their staff by 40% and they're looking for ideas. And not only are people that network, you know, great at leveraging their Rolodex and their CRM, they have no shortage of ideas that they can share with people to monetize things. Like, so for example, you know, we're doing virtual networking. That's a product that we were not planning on having for a very long time. We do not charge our attendees. Our hosts support us by partnering with us and sharing the expense of doing our face-to-face events. Well, next week, you know, we're going to be moving into virtual and serving panelists the same way and monetizing that aspect of our business. Frankly, we'll make a lot more money than we ever did and be able to help more of our hosts more than we ever did and put them in front of more people. Now is the time not to just think locally about your business. And Greg is always thinking nationally. Greg is always thinking nationally, and that builds his local. If you think nationally now, that's going to create all your local business. That's going to create referrals. Now, we haven't heard from Scott Rutter in a little while. What are your thoughts on what I just said, Scott? Specifically, you know, doing your business on a national level instead of just a local level.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, for the Goosehead franchise that I'm part of, again, we can do business nationally. So again, we're in all, you know, 50 states. We have the power of choice model. Also, the life insurance that we mentioned earlier, you and I are going to be partnering on that. So it can obviously do that nationally. But there's just tons of things. It's, again, keeping your brand alive, you know, connecting with people. I mean, through this fantastic platform you've created through Rockstar Connect and now in your partnership with HIO, I mean, you just continue to innovate with fantastic tools. So,
well, thank you for that, Scott. I want to emphasize and get the panelists' thought on this, because you're all givers here. You all host not just events with Rockstar Connect. You hold your own seminars and webinars and podcasts. You do everything you do to keep in touch with your sphere of influence. John and I, we do it very similarly to each other. We're never selling. We're always helping. You know, the same thing with Scott and others here on the panel. Is this your time to, you know, we do a lot of giving. Is this our time to do asks? Is this when we ask for the business now and ask for the support? We're going to have different opinions. Greg says no. Let's hear what Greg has to say.
I don't think you need to do the ask. I see John up there, my good buddy. How are you, my friend? I would never, I think that right now you have to give more than you've ever given in your entire life, because there's an example. I have a good friend of mine. He lives down in Australia, and he's a big trainer, real estate trainer down in Australia. His name is Glenn Twiddle. And when Australia was burning last year, one of his clients, a real estate agent in his town in Australia, kind of about out in the bush a little bit, he wasn't trying to do this for any fame or notoriety or visibility. What he and his wife and his family and a couple of his team members decided to do, they said when they were doing a mandatory evacuation, they stayed back. And then what they did is they just started creating mass amounts of food, cleaning the water, taking care of the koala bears and the other animals that are coming in, and, you know, keeping them from getting burned or injured. And his visibility went through the roof. And so right now, and now he's getting calls because he's like, oh, this so-and-so, you know, saved the koala bears, or, you know, fed the fire responders and stuff like that. So I would use that mindset of, without asking for the business, providing the value into your local neighborhood and to the people who are truly struggling. I mean, if you think about like the people, like the let's say the local bars. My girlfriend, her best friend has a little bar that is usually, business people go to it after hours, for a happy hour drink and then go home. Her sister's boyfriend is opening a video arcade bar thing, and both of those places are probably going to shut down. So how can you leverage and help and come up with creative, fun ideas where everyone can make some money? That's my personal thing. I don't think I would ask. I do ask, say, hey, are you still planning on selling? Yes, great. Then, what can I do to help you in this time frame? That's what I would go, and I'd provide a lot of news. There's a great site called The Curbed. In some of the major cities around the country, you can go get some uniquely interesting real estate news there, or just talk about Inman news and what's going on. And it's Inman news, as you guys well know, it's good stuff. But there's a product, if you guys are going to be doing these live, you're going to go double deep on this stuff. And Stephen, I'll get you the link for this as well. But there's a product called Live Leap. And we should be launching this again. But Live Leap is a program that I've used for like four years or something like that. And it takes my post on my profile page or on your page, right? And you just will disperse it out to all the different pages and groups that you have admin status in. So you can click one button, and Stephen, this would be just crush for what's going on with Rockstar. And just, it spreads over to every single one of those groups, and you get, one production or one video session now goes to X amount of different views. And I've gone from a couple hundred views to one of my sessions, I literally had over 10,000 views on the video I did before we even got off. It was absolutely insanity.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a killer company.
And that you can use that on your own groups and other community groups as well that you're a member of.
You have to be admin. You have to have an admin status in it.
You have to be an admin.
Yeah, and then you can connect it. It's really easy to connect it in the back. You link it up to your LinkedIn as well. You can link it up to an email account if you want to. So all these different places will get notified once you go live to come check out your Facebook Live or whatever else. And one more app, you guys, that I think is really, really cool. It's called StreamYard. And StreamYard, you can, again, go live if you're going to do all this stuff. You can stream live onto YouTube, and you can stream live onto Facebook simultaneously. That's for like $25 a month. And then if you get the $50 one, you can stream into 5 different locations for $50 a month. They really do a good job on the front end of production on that thing. So StreamYard's another really cool product. Again, I don't make any money from any of this stuff, guys. It's just stuff that I'm using. Stephen, you're muted.
Whenever I bring something new to Greg that's available, that's a new product, he's like, yeah, let me try it. I'm interested in trying it. Let's see what happens. He gets very excited, and he's always great at sharing information. So I think, actually, John, weren't you introduced to us from Greg? Initially?
I did. I wasn't. Greg did introduce us. So, I on one hand, you help other people get what they want, and you'll get what you need. And the book that I mentioned before, The Go Giver, we have churches here in Grand Rapids helping smaller churches. We have large real estate firms reaching out, helping smaller real estate firms. So I think helping others is the best way to do business. But I also, my clients across, this is where Greg and I might not necessarily agree. Hey, do you know anybody that's thinking about buying or selling in the near future? Because I could, I'm 100% commission, and I could always use another sale, right? Or, hey, do you know anybody that could help use my services? So I think there's power in the ask. Because of Greg, in fact, Greg, I reached out to you because one of my clients needed help with a podcast. And I said, will you help this person? And Greg said, yes, we want to help each other. Human natures want to help each other. So I don't know. I think there's some power in the ask.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Lisa has something she wants to add on this as well. Lisa is extremely well known in her area, and will bring a lot of wisdom right now. Go ahead, Lisamarie.
Everything I do in my life is intentional, and I have a lot of things that I do, from I'm the president of the board for a national suicide prevention hotline we have here in Reno. I'm in commercial real estate. I host events. I do professional speaking. I give a lot back to the community. And Stephen, you gave me some wise words almost a year ago when we were talking about expanding my Rockstar event in Reno. And I said, I'm coming from a place of service. I'm connecting people and resources and helping people make deals and make connections that have an impact on their life. And you said, Lisamarie, remember to ask. So there is power in the ask. I will tell you, I have a virtual BNI group that I'm in, as we're doing our meetings online now because of COVID. And I just threw it out there that the suicide prevention hotline here, they're 24/7, 365. They never close. We've been in operation for 54 years. I asked people if they could donate supplies like sanitizing supplies and toilet paper and things like that. I raised $600 with that one ask in my BNI group the other day. So when we take away someone's joy that they have from helping us, I think we're not doing them a service. So I come from giving and connecting all the time. And what I've learned is that there's a power to allow people to give back to me. And it's something that, John, like you said, that people like to do naturally. So there's nothing wrong with asking as long as we're putting being of service and assistance first. We rise by lifting others, and let's do that, but let's also ask as well.
I think, yeah, and let me, if I can just go a little bit on that, and I think Greg will agree with this. We don't have to do the ask, because once we offer, at the same time, those people are going to ask us what we need. Where we fail is to tell them what we need, and that is the ask. So when someone is offering a hand to you to help you and assist you with your business, accept it with open arms and take that hand. And, I know that even on a local level, we do that all the time. And if you are a leader and you do have a sphere of influence, you're very important in this time. I run one community group, and it's for a resort area, and they're having a lot of problems. I mean, people in that area, they don't want people to vacation there from New York and New Jersey, and it's very tense. Social distancing is a big deal there. Well, now whenever the city commissioner, the county commissioner or the newspaper is going to announce something, they contact me first and ask my opinion on how they should release that information. At the same time, they're also sharing information that is beneficial to my business. And I get to help other people there in the community. And whenever you can help people, well, I'm going to bring in, it says Scott Rutter there, but I know that's not Scott Rutter. That's Chris Rogers. Chris Rogers is working like a dog. He had just got a new position before coronavirus, and he was thrust into another position. You've helped a lot of people in the community. How are they now helping you? Like, what type of asks have you made, and how are people fulfilling those asks?
Well, to be honest, I have not done a lot of asking. If you would have asked me a month ago where I saw myself, what I would be doing, it would not be putting on a chef coat, cutting lettuce, washing dishes, doing all the things in the restaurant that I don't normally do. We had to pivot very quickly in order to stay viable. I have so many friends and people in this industry that don't have jobs, that don't have things, that are just worrying about what they're going to do because they live day to day and things like that. I mean, now's the time to help those people as much as we can. I mean, whenever I see the opportunity, I buy local. Whenever I can, I stop by a food truck, I stop by a restaurant that's doing curbside. It's definitely a different world. Luckily we're one of the few that pivoted the correct way, and we're doing really good to go business and curbside. How long this is going to last, who knows? When am I going to get to put on my suit and tie again and go back to seeing all these beautiful faces in person? Who knows? Only time will tell. In the meantime, just showing compassion, doing everything you can for people. I have a neighbor of mine who's the general manager of a restaurant locally here. They closed their doors completely. Last week, I just bought some steaks from the restaurant, took them over to his house. His wife is immunocompromised, so he can't work. Every day when I come to work, I try to find somewhere new to stop by and grab food just to continually show that support, because if these restaurants close their doors, there's a 3 out of 4 chance they're not going to reopen those doors. And that's why we just got to push through this over the next couple weeks. So thanks for having me on, by the way, guys. And yes, I wish I could have a martini with everybody, and I've got this beautiful bar full of liquor that I can't touch. So,
well, if you ever want to drop steaks off, Scott will tell you where I live. That's a great point. How do we support local businesses right now? We have an audience. Greg McDaniel has an enormous audience. I know everyone here has, through their Rockstar Connect connections and their business connections. Also, a lot of you attendees are super networkers. You have an audience of people in your local area. You are the celebrity. You are the go-to person. It's great that you go buy from another business, but you need to let people know that you're doing that so that they can model after you. It's like monkey see, monkey do. Bruce Hill, what are you doing? What are you doing to do that in your area? And I know you eat out a lot, never cook. It's true. I'm going to unmute you.
All right.
Okay, go
My
ahead,
wife
Bruce.
told me last night that she didn't know what was going on because she's the introvert in the relationship. And she said it's really hard to plan for meals when I'm home every day. So, right now, I think that, and I'm going to speak to that, but I also had something to share on the previous question about the ask.
Okay, go ahead. Please do.
And I find on the ask that a lot of times people are asking potentially a little bit too soon. And so there's some people that might be asking right now, and they're asking and they're kind of camped out in the awareness phase of their business. And I have this kind of theory that there's a gap between awareness and conversion, and that's called credibility. And you, Stephen, the story that you shared about the calls, how do we roll this announcement out? That's because you have credibility. And you've earned the right to ask. And your ask is probably going to get a very high conversion rate. But if you don't have any credibility and you're camped out, let's just hypothetically say you're in the real estate world and you're camped out in the, I'm still selling houses, look at this picture with me and my clients, look at this picture of the new house. You're simply in the awareness phase. And if you're on this call, most of your audience probably knows other realtors. So the approach is to build through marketing and content and value credibility so that when you do ask in a time like this, you get a result. So,
I mean, you're right about the credibility, and I think some people are losing their credibility. They're posting things, they're not researching first, they're not taking the temperature of the audience. And, I made a post and said, if you don't know if it's 100% true, don't post it. If you know it's going to harm someone else, 100% going to harm someone else, do not post it. If you know it's going to help other people, 100% do post it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have the ability to lose our credibility on social media very, very quickly. I would like to dig a little deeper on that with you, Greg, because you have a lot of credibility. I mean, people will get on the phone with me and they say, look, I'm going to do something just on the basis of what Greg said. How are you protecting that credibility? Because one slip up, you could lose that, right?
Yeah, of course you can. I mean, everything, I think what Bruce is saying is, 100% true. And I love that. The way I protect it is I use my own internal filter. And if I had a gentleman hit me up the other day on an idea and I just wrote back, thanks, but no thanks, because I just knew that it wasn't going to be right for the general population. And I'm not going at it to make a dollar. All the connections I'm making are to help other people. And that's where my underlying basis is. And it's because I see the value in the project. So like I'll introduce someone to Glenn or to my buddy James Rembrandt, who's the Zillow killer on Facebook. And these guys will take calls because I brought value to their lives. And so I guess what I would say is that, if you guys want to protect your brand or, your reputation, just make sure that I always do the litmus test of like, would I recommend my mom to this? Because my mom's, very conservative and very, mom-ish, because she's a mom. And if mom or grandma would take a look at it, okay, then I'd pass it on. Have I passed on bad stuff? I passed on one guy who ultimately became a scoundrel. And, you know, then he hit me up the other day to do more work. And I said, thank you, but no, thank you. Your reputation, I cannot be associated with you because you are just tarnishing my reputation. So I cut the fat very quickly, but only if someone has done something aggressively against me or against someone that I have recommended, because, and we all know scoundrels. We all know people out there who aren't going to have the best interest.
That's really tough. I mean, because right now I'm finding a lot of people that are, you know, my friends and that are active on social media that have enormous networks. Because if you're a networker, right, you have a lot of friends with big networks, and frequently you'll be asked to utilize your network. They'll say, hey, so-and-so approached me. What do you think of this guy? And that's a very delicate situation. How do you handle something like that, Greg?
I tell the truth. You know, if someone came to me and said, hey, what do you think of this guy named Elliot? I'll be like, dude, the guy's a rock star. You know, he's done nothing but been 100% kind and you know, professional with me. When I've had an issue, he bobbed and weaved with me. I mean, I was able to get to my events and I would tell him the story. But I mean, I guess you just got to vet people in your own manner. I don't know how to answer that. Everyone's going to have their own BS meter on, you know, is this human being telling me the truth? Are they not? Are they going in for, you know, reasons that are not 100% above board? Are they going into self-serve? Or, you know, are they looking out for the best of my clients? And the guy that I won't work with anymore, I've heard that he screwed over at least 3 or 4 of the people I brought in, didn't ever follow up with me to do a lot of production that we were going to talk to do. I gave him a ton of, you know, people to bring onto his publication. And I just said, no, bro, I just can't do it with you anymore. And he wasn't that excited about it, but hey, you can't be a scoundrel and then try to be the prince or princess. Not sexist here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And I would say that they're, you know, in desperate times, people get desperate and they do desperate things. So you really need to look at your relationship. Someone who might have been, you know, a completely reliable, credible person may fall off that pedestal and start doing not so great things because they're desperate. You need to have a good, you know, BS meter and be able to gauge that. I mean, I have to tell you, like John and I, we've spoken on the phone many times, but we only met in person once, and we hit it off immediately, like fast friends. And I felt that he was someone who has a tremendous bullshit meter. And part of that is he asks a lot of questions, you know, shows a lot of interest in the other person, partly because he's genuinely interested, but it's part of his BS meter. Can you, I feel like I'm nailing it, but can you expound on that a little bit more, John?
Great book, Great Leaders Ask Great Questions. Is that, Greg might be able to, do you remember, Stephen, are you familiar with that book? I think it's a Maxwell book, but well, it's a knack to ask good questions, and it's a knack to listen well. Not a knack, it's a skill set, right? So, yeah, I'm very cautious with who I get in business with. I'm very cautious that I'm with like-minded individuals, that I don't need Melissa, I think that's her name. I don't need Melissa to take me golfing. I don't need Melissa to take me to dinner. Like, I need Melissa to do the best job she can for my clients and not take advantage of them, and to provide superior service so that when I get recommended out there, people can say, man, John's people that are in his quiver, are in his network, are good people, good souls. Boy, you mess with one of my tribe, yeah, I'll cut you out.
Well, I'll tell you, if Melissa did invite you anywhere, you'd want to go with her because she's a lot of fun, and her tribe of people, they love her because she's fun. You know, so I was talking a little bit negative. Now let's put a little bit of positivity in. Melissa, are people from your tribe reaching out to you in order to get the temperature of the way the business world is? And I know you still have to do business. How do you serve them as well?
Well, I think that I heard it a few times, but, being an educator for my sphere and for people that, will listen to me is really important. I do tell my real estate agents that they don't need to know all of the ins and outs about the lending side. I mean, that's why they have me, and that's what I'm here, to go over the details with. But, it never hurts for you to understand what's going on with the market, where interest rates are, what the trend, even though, again, I said, we don't know where we're going to be in the, in the next hour, let alone the next day. But I just really think that it's important to be a good asset and a good, a good value to my clients and to my realtor partners, so that they understand kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
For them to, a couple of weeks back when the Fed, lowered rates to 0%, I saw all of these real estate agents posting that you're going to get a mortgage for 0%. And my head exploded, but mine understood that that's not exactly how things were going to work, and that's, not exactly what all of that meant. So again, partner yourselves with great people that are knowledgeable, that can keep you in the loop. And, like you said, John, you're going to be a full force team for all of your clients, and they're going to think of you in the future for lending needs, for your realtor, for the roofer that you use, for that painter, all of that stuff. And it's another reason for them to trust you and come back to you in the years to come.
Very good, Melissa. You got to cut through the BS and sort of be, if you're an expert in what you're doing, you need to give possibly the contrary opinion of what's being there on social media. And, maybe reach out to those people personally that are putting out misinformation and help educate them so they're putting out good information, providing them with content. So much appreciated. Now, this event is very different than, a lot of events. We have panelists. We also have the HIO Virtual Lounge, which if anyone would like to jump into that lounge in order to, experience one-on-one with one another. And, when we end this conversation, many of our hosts are going to jump into the virtual lounge to interact with you one-on-one. But keep in mind, for you attendees that are coming to this event and are going to be inviting people to come to this event, this is an event for people that are networkers. And networkers are a totally different type of individual. Yes, they have to make a living, and they need to, support their family and their employees and their coworkers, but they also want to help other people. So to that end, ask questions. When you come as an attendee, you have some responsibilities as well. You need to come with some good questions that the panelists can answer for you, or maybe you yourself would like to be a panelist in the future. And Sarah's going to drop in some information if you want to contact Rockstar Connect and you want to be a panelist. Of course, we are not doing live events, which were our bread and butter. We have now moved fully into virtual. You have the ability to make contributions. And we actually had someone who made a very nice financial contribution to Rockstar Connect today. What was the gentleman's name?
I'm not sure how to pronounce his first name. I think it's Davenant.
Davenant Banks. We really appreciate that you went to the contribution button and you made a contribution. As far as panelists, you can be a sponsor of this program, either as a sponsor or as a panelist. We're not going to let people on that don't share our point of view about helping people. It's not about coming on here and selling. It's about coming and contributing. That being said, we are going to put you in front of thousands of people through our social media, through the live event, all around the United States. So it is a great opportunity to show the better giving side of yourself, not the selfish side, but the giving side. Sarah, you had something you wanted to add?
I did want to add just a little tidbit is to a previous point in the conversation where we're talking about intuition and following that intuition. One of the great things to do in this downtime is to take the time to learn how to look inside and develop that intuition when you're not commuting and when you're not having to get ready and get up in the morning and put your suit on. It's a great time to learn how to meditate or take some quiet time so you can really develop that intuition and learn how to find that voice that tells you right from wrong.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And several hundred people that have been attendees in this event today online have downloaded the HIO app. You probably just did the minimal amount to get going and start networking with other people. But you have been given an app that just prior to the coronavirus cost over $50 per month. And for the people that are participating with us, you're now getting the premium app for free. I want you to go in there and put all, your Facebook page and everything else, and not only visit Rockstar Connect events. There are events going on all over the country that you can support. Rockstar Connect events are free to attend. They will always be free to attend. That's why we do have the opportunity for people, to sponsor us or make contributions, and we appreciate you all. Just, I wanted to talk to Mark, and I think he might have left, but those people that are here and with us right now, just some final words that you'd like to share with the audience. And let's start with Scott.
Yeah, so Stephen, I was just on the HIO app right as we were speaking. I've been on this whole time, but I mean, again, I've had a ton of connection requests and a lot of people that have, again, it's phenomenal. There's a lot you can share on there, like you mentioned, and thanks to you and HIO for allowing all of us that ability to communicate with people and to continue these conversations. I'll be in the virtual lounge after this.
Those of you that came in through your LinkedIn invitation, it's physically challenging to do, to get out words about events. I personally invited 13,000 people on LinkedIn one at a time to get people to attend the event. That's a lot of pushing buttons, and that's a lot of hours. If you want to make a contribution to this event, when you see that invite and you've been invited, invite your sphere of influence, invite your network to the event so that they can also have the opportunity to connect with other people in a meaningful manner, which you might not be able to do on LinkedIn, or you may not be able to do on Facebook. With this HIO app, it's very powerful to be able to connect one-on-one without risking getting ill or making your spouse nervous. Because I know that all of you that are here, you're networkers, chances are your spouse is not so much. You're the extroverted person in the family, and they're concerned about you, that you're going to do a good deed and you're going to get sick or something else. Take advantage of the HIO app. Take advantage of Rockstar Connect, 3 Martini lunch. We have evening events every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that are very intimate, where you're essentially a panelist in the group with our hosts. Usually there's somewhere between 10 and 30 people in those rooms from all over the country. Go to those. You can go on the HIO app and find those. You can go on Eventbrite. Mark Roberts, some final words from you. And I want to give everybody a chance who's left.
Yes, just thank you, Dave, for hosting these, for pushing this forward, giving us the opportunity to reach out to everyone and do what we can to help. Again, we were kind of poised for this like you were, so we've been running at full steam, but been able to help out an awful lot of people. And I just want to show you my thanks. Appreciate it.
I mean, that's what it's all about. The typical Rockstar Connect host does not ask us what's the return on investment. They want to know how much investment can I make to make returns for other people. John Doorn, final words.
I love what you just said. Thank you for that. Yeah. In these times, I've found that mindset is so incredibly important, and be careful. I always say your subconscious mind is like a child. It hears you, it listens to you, and it believes you. So be careful right now what you're telling your subconscious mind. I think Greg can answer that, but I don't think there's a ton of coaches that can coach you through a mindset. I'm not saying I'm a great coach, but if you want to spend 45 minutes free with me on the phone, and I'm here, happy to do that for free and have a conversation. Keep your head. I mean,
John is going to help you, keep you from going over that edge, and just teach the reality of it. don't expect anything to be normal right now, because it isn't normal. If your expectation is that things are going to be exactly the way they were, you're going to be very disappointed. Greg, do you want to expound on that a little bit and give your final words?
Number one, I mean, the reason I know John is because we were at a private event, was it 3 years ago now? I think it was like 3 years ago. And Delta Airlines had lost my luggage for the entire event. Thank God we stayed we all stayed in this large house and I could wear the same clothes for 3 days. But, John was the only one that he's like, hey, dude, like, I'll take you to Walmart and I'll get you some clean clothes. And I'm like, you're the only one that's offered that to me, dude. So I would take my shirt off and give John anything because of that mindset. And I think that's the exact mindset, I would appreciate and I would want to have done to me is go in service out to everyone around you. And this shouldn't just be during when we're all locked in and stuff. This should be something that should be innate to all human beings. I mean, we will all get what we want if we give more of ourselves first, and my dad has always coined a phrase, bless and prosper before, receiving. And so he just was a big advocate of that. And I truly believe that if you take the John Doorn, lifestyle approach, and if you see a need with someone, don't just expect the next guy or gal that they're going to step up and do it. You step up. You go take the person to Walmart and get the jeans and the socks and the shirts and the stuff, which, by the way, when we got back from Walmart, Delta delivered my bag to me. So that was really cool. But it was just that whole mindset. So that's where I would come from. And it would be just, if you see an issue, do everything you can to fix it or to help or to connect those people to the right person or right vertical. So just go in service. That would be my main takeaway.
Yeah, thank you, Greg, and all of you participants that are stuck into the very end. And I know a lot of people have been coming in and out. Please listen to these wise words. I know a lot of you are incredible networkers. Let's make a pledge to help at least one other person get some business today. Let's do that for our network. Chris Rogers.
Let's see. Okay. So I guess if there's any final thing I could say, I had a great regional boss one day. Came to me, he's like, Chris, we know that all these changes are coming. We know that all these things are happening. There's two ways you can look at it. You can live above the line or you can live below the line. All right, living below the line pushes you into a state where you're placing blame, where you don't want to be there. You don't want to do what you need to do. If you live above the line, once you get through those changes, it's going to take you 10 times further than it would have ever taken you before. Guys, just everybody keep supporting the people on the front line. Stay safe out there. I mean, that's really the gist of what I can say today. So, and thank you for having me on for sure.
Thank you. And everyone, I know some people, they will not go to a restaurant right now. They have a lot of food in the house. They're afraid that's going to spoil whatever. You can buy gift cards, and there's a lot of restaurants out there that are giving special discounts on their gift cards. So it's an opportunity not only to help someone else, but also to help yourself in the future. Melissa, last words.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me on today. I really appreciate it. I would just say that I think that it's super important that we're all just trying our best to feed our bodies and our minds with as much, positive as we can right now in these days. Don't dwell on watching the news. Don't post those political posts that are going to get you somebody that's going to be a total troll. Let's all just be happy, friendly. When we did talk about that meme about needing to learn a language or pick up this and you've got to have a new hobby by the end of this, you're doing just fine, okay? You woke up today, you're on this call, you're trying to better your business, and I think that you're doing a great job. So just keep on keeping on and stay sane, stay healthy, and I hope to see you on the next calls.
I love what you're saying, Melissa. For most of us out here today, judge your success by the fact that you got out of bed and you put on clothing and maybe you called your mom and your dad. Right. That's a big success. And don't forget your parents and all those older people that need us now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Tommy and Jamie, are you still there? I think they've gone into the higher room. Sarah, do you have something to say?
I'm going to come closer because I was hard to hear before. I just want to say, and I'm off camera, but I just want to say thank you to everybody who has participated, all of our panelists. You mean the world to us. Everybody who's been watching throughout this whole thing, this would not be a success without you. So thank you, thank you, thank you for your participation. We do all of this to bring the world, our states, our communities together. So everything that you do with us helps that. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. And once again, please, thank you guys. Invite other people. We're going to be doing the next event on Thursday. Anyone who's been here currently as an attendee, we're going to send you an invite as well. Send it out. If you need, anything to send out to your list, we can produce it for you. We can produce videos for you to encourage other people to come to the event. And if you would like to support us by being a sponsor of this endeavor or making a contribution, please drop something in the chat and someone from our team will reach out to you. We're going to leave the HIO room open, so some of you hosts that have not had the opportunity to go in can go interact with your audience. And yes, Greg, go ahead.
Where can I get, what is this app called? And I just download it because
it's the HIO app. We're going to drop the link into the chat. Okay. And Greg, your concierge will reach out to you to make sure that you have this app. You're going to absolutely love it.
Cool.
Don't forget, all of you hosts that are Rockstar Connect hosts, we are open and we're providing all the services that you needed before, whether that be graphic design, video, promoting your other events outside of Rockstar Connect. And for the people that are out in the audience, if you do want to have events that are virtual, reach out to us. We really do consider ourselves the expert in putting butts into seats for events. Thank you all for your time. We're going to leave that HIO app open, and we're going to go out. We're gone. 1, 2, 3. I'm ending the meeting.